This pasta bake was made from ingredients from Lidl.
And this pasta bake was made using the same ingredients, but from Harrods.
It smells quite nice, actually.
They smell amazing.
Must be time for another cheap versus steep, eh?
Must be.
So I was in London recently where I filmed a video for Uncle Roger's restaurant and also a collaboration with Bella Does Editing. That was a Harrods taste test. But I thought whilst I was in London, I had a little window to go to Harrods again and buy some ingredients for this cheap versus steep pasta bake. And it's the craziest kind of hybrid pasta bake I could make. Getting the ingredients was a little bit tricky. Have you been to Harrods before?
Very long time ago.
Was that like a school trip or something?
No, I think I went with my mum. I just remember it being very posh.
My mum literally told me that you had to be of a certain wealth to go in Harrods and you needed like security and like, I don't know, like you had to wear a suit and tie and stuff.
Maybe
like,
she just didn't want to take you.
Yeah, maybe. I'd never been there before, but it was fascinating. But I also kind of, when I got in there, the food hall kind of limited this video. I was restricted to kind of like going what I thought I could get in Lidl. And for the most part, it's kind of been a success.
Okay.
So there are a few little tweaks with the ingredients. We'll talk about them one by one and possibly why the expensive one is supposed to be so expensive. The first one is our pasta. Okay, so for the pasta, and this is where I made quite a big boo-boo at the start. And this was, again, the downside of retrospectively going to Lidl. And I swear I bought rigatoni pasta from there before. I know they sort of cycle their stock. It depends on the size of the Lidl you go to. But hey, at least we got some pasta.
Yes.
So from there, for 69p, I picked up a bag of penne rigate. Yeah, 500 gram bag, and it looks like pasta, right? I mean, it still says rigate. That's nearly rigatoni, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's similar shape. It's not spaghetti.
That's a good point. So the complete opposite of that, our pasta from Harrods, 13 times more.
Wow.
A £9 bag of rigatoni for 500 grams. So literally 13 times the price for this. Pasta di grano duro. It looks quite nice too, doesn't it? Like chalky. You've got the yellowy hue on the penne one.
It does. It looks very fancy.
Gragnano pasta has PGI protection, whatever that is. Extruded through vintage bronze dyes and dried slowly at temperatures over days.
Okay.
So I think this is a whole bronze dye thing, how like the sauce should like adhere to it more.
Okay,
But
yeah.
to be fair to Lidl, they did actually have a bronze dye selection of pastas in there. But I'd already bought this to compare. It would have been like say the spaghetti thing. But anyhow, let's cook some pasta. Have a feel of this, mate.
Oh, it feels quite rough and like chalk.
Yeah, it's like sort of like dusty sandpaper vibes, but apparently that is what will grab more of the sauce onto it and make it kind of latch to it. Whereas that sort of classic yellow hue, no matter what pasta shape you get, where it's kind of like more glossy in some ways or like more of a smoother finish. Obviously it's a difference in size as well. These need to be cooked about 2 minutes more, but even the result, these should be slightly firmer, whereas this is going to be a little softer. But hey, that is a heck of a difference. All right, expensive going in because it needs a couple of minutes more. About 11 minutes on this one. Oh wow, they actually look like cannolis.
Yeah.
Oh, I love how now it's actually got soaked in the water. The colour is slightly back to this one.
It looks a lot brighter.
It does, doesn't it? In it goes.
Here we go.
A completely unrelated thing, obviously this was on a little bit before, like 2 minutes more. This is at the same temperature right now, but at this point, a couple of minutes ago, this pasta is still not really doing much. So maybe this thicker stuff is possibly more insulated. We'll just keep cooking it till it works. So this is the steep pasta.
It is, yeah.
Oh my word. It's like in the sauna. Right, I'm gonna do the cheap one. In that goes. Ah, can you go the other handle? Ah, yes. POV, steam room, budget pasta. Any sort of difference in that? I mean, it's a slightly different colour tone, right?
Yeah, it still looks, this one still looks brighter.
All right, so next up is the chorizo, and we're gonna cook it in olive oil. Now, this is a special olive oil that you might have seen me use with Stuart Ashen. Ooh. Oh! Now, we've used oil in this cheap versus steep videos before. Remember I got some like crazy canister thing and stuff? Like, Harrods had this. Right, I'm making a decision here. There's some really, really expensive olive oil, and I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, so this is olive oil here that's like 75 quid. And if I'm doing this video properly, I'm gonna buy it. But I've got some really expensive olive oils at home anyway, actually even more expensive than this. So I'm gonna use what I've already got and save not only the price, but the weight just for the oil, because I'm only gonna use a smidgen. We're gonna just use a tablespoon of olive oil between both the dishes. I don't think it's gonna make that big a difference, especially when you see the chorizo. Yeah, so Mrs. B, can you just put like, yeah, a bit of oil in each pan?
Yeah.
So from Lidl, the chorizo was 99 pence for 22 slices. So from Harrods, I got this special stuff from a counter. It was pretty epic indeed, and I made a friend. Yeah, could I get 100 grams of that? So I get this chorizo, and then, yeah, like basically compare it to the Lidl. I'm gonna make a pasta bake with chorizo and tomato and yeah. But for 100 grams for £6.89, I got this crazy chorizo and they shaved it all off for me.
So this is Chorizo?
Joselito or something, yeah. The price difference is for what we need for 800 grams. If you pop around it, 83p versus £6.89, so 8.4 times more the price.
Wow.
And the Joselito is widely considered the Rolls Royce of Spanish cured meats made from free-range acorn-fed pigs.
Oh.
There we go, acorn pigs. Actually, this was probably the hardest thing to like transport with. It was slightly weeping. Like seriously, if we did this video in London, like we would have gone absolutely bonkers with some of the options that we could have done, but I had to be fair. It looks like some sort of rug.
It does. Oh.
Wow.
Oh, no, is that it? No.
No?
It's in another.
That's like a jigsaw. Oh, there we go.
It's like a chorizo blanket.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, I've got like 120 grams in this pack, and maybe it's just deceptively like tightly together. But it looks like I've got the same sort of effect. I've got like thinly sliced mat like this. I think we'll just let it kind of shrivel up and let the paprika oils do its thing.
Oh, yours smells strong.
It does, doesn't it?
Ooh, this doesn't smell as strong.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's gonna like render like more or less fat. And you do look like you've got like loads more as well.
Yeah.
We've decided that Mrs. B's is like, because they've got actually smaller slices. I think we just don't chop it. I think we like let it do its thing. And if we need to, we could always do that later. But I'm gonna go for like 20 slices, I think. Which actually, now you look at the weight of it, it might be about right. It's interesting how this is like much more like vibrant in color, if that's sort of the way this stuff's done. So we're just frying this up for a couple of minutes, about to stop now. It has like definitely rendered out quite a lot of oil in the cheap one. In fact, look at the staining on it. I feel like I see that quite a lot when cooking with chorizo. It's shriveled up a little bit. If we look over at yours, look at that.
Yeah,
look at the color on that spatula.
I know.
All right, this might be a better way of visualizing it because we are going to slice them up anyway. But it seems like yours have like almost like halved in size.
Yeah.
Yours almost look like sun-dried tomatoes.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, and like the colour in the oil. I mean, look at this stain there compared to there. It almost feels like this is like, say, the artificial thing. Is it exceptionally like dyed on purpose? Actually, do you think you need to slice yours up?
I don't know. It's shriveled up quite a bit, and that's probably about the size of half of one of yours.
Yeah, I think these are going to need to be sliced. So we'll do that, but now we can work on the sauce with this going to be joining it. Okay, so the tomato-based sauce, the range actually in Harrods of like jarred bits was absolutely minimal.
Okay.
But I did find this stuff by Vianney, Basilico Sugo from tomatoes and basils, 280ml jars. Now, annoyingly, this jar is so small, I need to get 2 of them. Damn, this is expensive.
£6 each?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm at that weird bit where it's 280ml and I think we need roughly 500,
Yeah.
so I definitely needed 2 jars. Now, I could have gone really unfair on Lidl, and this is where I've kind of learned from your feedback. I could have gone for the budget tomato sauce that they had there, but I did see that this Sugo has basil in it, so
Yeah.
I actually got some tubs of passata. I bought 2 for 79p, which makes it £1.58, but there's a special offer of 40p off. But as it is, we might get away with just one anyway. Okay, so let's just look at this passata first of all. Kind of smooth, kind of chunky, not too bad. Now, I've told you about the prices individually, but compared to what we're using versus, well, what we're left with, how's it smell?
That smells good.
Ooh, that smells really rich. Ooh, that is chunkier.
That is.
But look at how much you get in a jar. It's hardly anything, but a lot less watered down, isn't it?
It is.
And maybe slightly brighter, slightly more vibrant.
Yeah.
There we go. Now I hope you're ready for this.
Okay.
This is the biggest ever price difference, ever on a cheap versus steep. And I didn't think it would be tomato sauce. The difference versus the Lidl tomato sauce and the 2 jars is 18.2 times more.
Wow.
Like 18 times the price. All right, so next up we've got some, what was gonna be butter beans that I bought from Harrods. Now I went to Lidl and actually on the shelf it did say butter beans or cannelli beans. I looked everywhere, but they only had the cannelli ones, which is kind of the closest to it apparently. So I have these.
Cannellini.
45p.
Bargain.
Then I found in Harrods a jar of butter beans, this gigantic jar of £5.
So these are queen butter beans.
Oh, a queen.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
They're massive, they look like garlic cloves.
They do. And they're soft and creamy in a delicious butter bean stock, so their own stock they're in.
Right, whereas these are basically in water, so we should probably drain these up to try and get a roughly even weight, even though, again, these look absolutely ginormous. So I think what we'll do is the drained weight, we did just drain these off camera as best we could. Actually, they're not that small, they're quite big beans to be fair. And I was like, well, I've gone to the effort of buying these queen butter beans, surely I might as well put some sort of beans in there. I know it's a bit of a random pasta bake, but it is basically this and the pasta that was the thing from the Lidl shop that was the hardest to kind of, oh my word. Yeah, that looks about the same. But that, with the ratio we've got in there, is 11 times difference in price.
Oh, wow.
So it's still 11 times. I do have to say though, although these aren't butter beans, they are a similar size to the standard ones you get. Certainly at Lidl, you would not get queen ones.
No.
I love, they look like garlic, don't they?
They do.
It's mad. So next up is pesto from Lidl. I got some pesto that was £1.49. I was quite impressed with this one because this is sun-dried tomato pesto rosso, and that was, I remember, this was literally what I got from Harrods. So the pesto in Harrods, again, pesto rosso, £8.
What?
So that is £8 versus £1.49 for arguably something that does, this is their deluxe range Lidl, so it's normally pretty good. So we need both of the full jars. Not only is that a £6.50 difference. Oh, look at the colour.
I know, mine's a lot lighter.
Wow, actually 5.7 times more the price.
Oh, wow.
What's so good about that one then?
I think it's just an artisan sun-dried tomato paste.
Yeah, it's by that Vianney brand again,
Yeah.
mixed with high-grade oil and aged cheese versus a mass-market version using sunflower oil.
Okay.
So there's definitely that colour again, isn't it?
So maybe that is the colour, why the colour difference, because that is sunflower oil.
All right, next up are the olives from Harrods for £7. They actually, this is probably the most normal olives they had. There are some crazy stuff ones. We've got these mixed olives. Think of them. It says very deli on them.
Yeah, well they're green. Oh no, they are mixed. I thought they were just green.
I reckon all the other ones are hiding behind the label maybe, but they're pitted, so peace of mind.
They are in extra virgin olive oil.
I was actually relieved when I went to Lidl because I found these pitted green olives in brine. So brine rather than the olive oil, but at least we've got them. They're pitted as well. 89p versus the was that £7?
£7.
Oh my word. That's a crazy difference. So we're not going to use them all. Oh my gosh, we need a hack, Mrs. B. No, what was the other one? You haven't done this one with me. You got an XL. Yes, it worked, kind of. You don't like olives, do you?
Nope.
So I even put them in here. This is the thing, it was so tricky to go, right, Lidl will have olives.
It's fine, you bought them now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll slice these up. I don't think I like olives.
Do you want to try them, the posh ones?
Yeah, maybe it's the brine. Oh, that's a good olive.
Better?
That's really good. Shall I put many in?
No.
No? Great. Either way, it's 9.6 price difference. And based on that taste alone, it is noticeable. Plus, a little bit like the beans, you don't really want the brine in there. You're going to get that oil, that flavoured oil with the herbs.
Yeah.
All right, I'll sort this out. Yeah, let's try and do this at the same time. We slice them up. Noticeable specks of herbs on the steep one.
Yeah.
But look, there is actually a difference in the colour here. We're going to warm this up now. We just sort of show you that difference. Oh, thanks, mate. Down we go. Oh my gosh, the oil stains in this paprika on this cheap one. Ugh! Look at that, the difference. Yours looks like, I don't know, there's so much going on there.
I know.
I know it's such a simple thing. I can smell the cheese in that pesto as well.
Yeah.
See, like, look how, like, not watery, but this is like exceptionally thin. You can still see the textures in there. Is that not me? Is it like real difference in texture and consistency?
It is, yeah. It's really thick.
We just put our pasta in. Can you see what other people can see there? Look at that.
Yeah.
That looks a massive amount of pasta. How are you feeling? What's like?
I'm feeling good. I feel like, I don't know why, this is giving like school dinner vibes.
It
I don't
is.
know why.
It's the pasta, isn't it? I know you guys are going to slate me. I'm so sorry that happened, but like it was literally, I'm sure they did it. But it doesn't matter. All these other flavour combos, it's pasta. Look, actually, I mean, it doesn't help the fact that your sauce is thicker.
Yeah.
That does it like it's latching to that more.
Yeah, this really does look like it's coating the pasta well.
Has your thoughts on what's going to win based on what we've done so far? Is it like going one way or the other?
It's still not changed. I can't actually see now you're lifting it.
There we go. I can do it. We can tip. Hey!
Oh,
See, that actually looks decent.
it does.
And I love that smoky paprika taste. I think I would love this.
I think you will too.
Yeah, I'm starting to go team cheap already.
Ugh, I'm steep.
I was going to help you with my spatula, but I don't want to sort of contaminate it with the budget. Oh, that looks good as well. It looks more luxurious. What do you think colour-wise?
Looks quite similar now.
Yeah, whereas before when we had it in the pan, there was definitely a difference.
Yeah.
There was one more richer than the other, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the sauce looks like it's coated the shapes, both the same.
Yeah, you can't deny they're covered. I love that you've got like the beans and the olives as well, like wedged in there.
Yeah.
Right, cheese. We'll start with the cheddar cheese first, okay?
Okay.
In Lidl, I could only buy a mature block of cheddar, like a family pack. So we've got an awful lot here. 800 grams for £4.75.
Oh, well, that's good.
That is way beyond what we need.
This looks like a piece of gold.
Well, it is, but it's also kind of local to us. You've heard me rave about cheddar before, Cheddar Caves, Cheddar Gorge, where cheddar was basically created. They mature the cheese in the caves.
Yeah.
Guess where that cheese is from? And we're not just going to get any old cheese. Look, they've got the Harrods cave-aged cheddar, and that is from actual cheddar where I live. Amazing. Here we go, mate. The irony is that you're going to come home to the southwest with me, and you're from about 10 miles from my house. Yes, that cave-aged cheddar that I went all the way to London for and bought and literally brought back to 10 minutes from our house. £8.23 for 200 grams.
That's mad.
So if we're going to use 150 grams of the cheddar, that is 89p from that.
Yeah.
And £6.17 of that.
Wow.
7 times more.
7 times more.
So let's talk about the Parmesan. Now, on a previous video where I've used Parmesan cheap versus steep, people were like, oh no, you should have got Parmesan against Parmesan, because they do like hard cheese. They had Grana Padano, which we've done a video on that before. Actually went to Italy and learned how that was made, but I wanted to be fair to Lidl. So for £3.75, they have this 30 months matured Parmigiano Reggiano, like legit stuff. So that's 200 grams. It's a good wedge, but it's also a good wedge of money. I could have made this way cheaper, but I felt I was fair with that.
Yeah.
A little bit like the pesto as well, and the tomato sauce. We tried to get a fair balance.
Yeah.
The Parmesan in Harrods. This is the one I want, 72-month aged Parmesan.
I love how they wrap this all so nicely.
Oh, it's like a present. It was gorgeous, but it was already wrapped like this. The lady told me, because this is 72 months aged Parmesan. I looked at this gigantic block that they had, but she said, oh no, we can't slice that for you on demand. We do it ahead of time because it can crumble so much. It can be like, it takes so much time to do it properly.
So was this cut 72 months ago?
No.
Oh.
And they do it every morning fresh, but like for them to do that for every customer, they said it would just not get a perfect slice like that because of how well it's aged. So yeah, your lovely gift wrapped cheese, £18.60. £18.63!
That's...
That is mad!
This better be some amazing Parmesan.
And we're only going to use 50 grams, so that is 94p with this, but that's 72 months, £6.21 for 50 grams.
Wow.
That is 6.6 times more the price.
That's incredible.
Right, ready? We should try and keep to our cheap versus steep line.
My cheese looks like white chocolate.
What? Why does yours look so good? Yeah, mine looks like, well, like cheese. There's nothing wrong with it. Yours looks like, yeah, like white chocolate flakes. We're gonna just swap and see if there's a difference in the, oh my gosh, that's so harder.
Yeah, yours is like soft.
Yeah, it's almost like there's way more milk. This is so hard to grate. I'm actually quite impressed with how well we've managed to keep that divided. Maybe the cheese knows. It's like, hey, you're not from around here.
Yeah.
Actual cheddar cheese from cheddar. All right, very excited.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at all the salt. Look how like gritty it is.
It's strong.
Yeah.
Smell it.
That's what my car smells of. Look at that bumpy texture. That's what the whole block looked like, effectively. It had all these sort of like imperfections and like see the aging?
Yeah, I do.
As a cheese connoisseur, do you like that?
No.
No.
Makes me think it's not safe to eat.
It is safe to eat, mate. It's just well preserved. I mean, exceptionally well preserved.
All right, I just sprinkle it on.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It should be really coarse and like dry and gritty.
Look at that. Look how white it is.
We've got to try some of this like on its own in a minute. Happy?
Very happy.
See, I've got to say, this also has a little bit of those imperfections just starting, like they, you know, that to show the aging, those little white specks. Okay, it smells a bit, but actually, like, bearable.
Nowhere near as strong as the other.
What colour are you thinking that? I mean, look, is that paler? Is that yellowier? Is it the same?
I think that's not as white.
Yeah, there seems to be a bit more depth to it. Definitely the noticeable difference is the smell. All right, so the steep gets the wonders of the garden kitchen oven, and the cheap gets the wonders of the house oven.
They're out of the oven now. It's been 20 minutes.
There is a noticeable difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the cheap. It actually, well, it kind of looks like a pasta bake, right, mate?
Yeah.
That's what we're after. It smells gorgeous, but look at the cheese, okay?
Here's the steep.
I don't know what, oh, actually, on camera it looks better than it does in person. You can see how it's puddled.
Yeah.
But whereas this has pooled into like gooey potential cheese bits, this is firmed up way more. The oven was at the right temperature. It's almost crispier on top.
Yeah, but with this one, you can still see the Parmesan has gone golden, whereas on the cheap, it's
kind
just
of
merged in.
Absolutely. So Mrs. B thinks if we have it cold like this, it's going to help sort of it hold the structure a bit more, which I don't mind. I think that's a good idea. Oh my word, look at that. There is some serious sausage in there. Nice. And that is actually slightly still warm as well. Honestly.
That's good.
You smell this, like the smoky, the paprika. It smells good, but I can't unsee the oil from earlier compared to the other one. That's the only thing, but this is going to be really hard to beat. Actually, now you've broken through that top layer, that does sound still like quite softened.
The top feels quite crunchy, which is good on a pasta bake.
Yeah.
Oh no! There we go.
All right.
That looks really luxurious.
Does it?
I think so.
Well, yours smells more like sausage. I mean, we're both not against each other, but like, I don't know.
I think this looks good.
Okay, so before we try this is going to go on our cheap versus steep playlist, which we've done for blooming years. It's always fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you got a favourite one?
Oh, I did like doing the brownies and the chocolate cake.
Yeah, visually, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The colour, the richness. And actually now how this has ended up, okay, we have to look past the pasta, but even the way the cheese melted, the flavours, the consistency of the sauce is pretty interesting. And actually when it comes to the shop, the Lidl one was £14.59.
Okay.
And the Harrods one, although I got a free bag,
Yeah.
£74.75.
Wow.
So to compare them side by side, that is a difference of £60 and 16p, or 5.1 times more. But if you do the shop to purely make this pasta bake, the difference, the Lidl one would cost £6.60 to make it.
Okay.
Or for the Harrods one, £60.27.
Oh my goodness.
The biggest difference ever in a cheap versus steep. For a very bodged pasta bake, again, I do apologise, 9.1 times more, or if you want to make it sound crazy, 813% more.
Wow.
There we go.
Oh my gosh.
That was fun to calculate. Right, shall we try the cheap first
Yeah.
and then maybe go steep and then back?
Okay.
All right, cool.
Just try and get a bit of everything.
Yeah. Salty, it's rich, it's flavour.
That's really rich. That's really nice.
A chorizo, olive, bean, pasta bake.
I have to say, the chorizo overpowers any cheese. I couldn't taste the cheese.
Yeah.
Try this one?
Yeah. My gosh. Like, pasta aside, I'm not even thinking about that.
That's incredible.
That is insane.
That chorizo is smoky, but it's not overpowering. This is too much money, but
Yes.
this is insane. And even the beans are different. The smaller beans, I don't know if it's a type of bean, but they were like mushy. Whereas these just like melt in your mouth.
Yeah. Oh my word.
I don't think we've ever agreed this much on one.
That is absolutely. I mean, it looks, like you say, maybe nicer in some ways.
This is incredible.
Wow, there's so much complexity of flavours in there, isn't it? £60 on a pasta bake? 60 quid, it had to be, and this is the thing, it should be. And I think for one of the first times ever, that really, you can't, I don't know if you justify the price, but like justifies it being the more expensive.
Yeah, but who would be able to afford to make that once a week?
Unbelievable.
No one.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Do check out the rest of Cheap vs. Steep if you wish. Subscribe for regular videos each week. And any final words, Mrs. B?
I just think this is amazing.
One question we get asked the most whenever we do this Cheap versus Steep, is there an ingredient from the steep or cheap that you would swap to kind of make an ultimate one? I think pasta.
Yeah.
Although I was sort of worried about the visual thing of it, it's probably doing the least work. The rest is just so good, right?
Yeah.